Okay, we'll go in 1 minute. Keep getting more and more, so should be ready momentarily. Yep. And we don't have to get 6 inch or 6 foot. So, I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight, Tuesday, May 18th, and starting at 6:30 p.m. And first thing I'll ask, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 2, which is oath of office to the new council member. So,
Councilor Perky has his oath of office. I'll ask you to make the oath now, please.
Okay. I, Stephen Kirky, having been elected to the office of the Council of the Township of Nipissing, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, and in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, or the reigning sovereign for the time being. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
thank you, Councilor
Sign
Kirby.
your name, please. Thank you.
And I welcome you to council. And now, all the fun stuff. Okay, so first of all, we have staff reports. And I have Road Superintendent Guinness's report. Does everybody have that one?
Yep.
Okay, and we've heard about the grader. And it saddens us greatly, but it is what it is. So half tons been lit, half loads have been lifted. Okay. Are there any questions for Dan or anything you'd like to say, Dan?
I know, just couldn't be worse timing for the grader to go down, but we're on it. Hopefully next week it'll be up. Most of the parts should be here tomorrow. And Thursday start putting it back together. We'll be waiting on. I had to drop the head off the machine shop today, so it'll be a couple days with it. But hopefully we can start putting the bottom end back together and get it back. Get the head next week and put it back in.
Well, I'm sure you're doing the best you possibly can under not a good situation.
No.
So I thank you for that.
But we did catch another problem while we were in there. The pressure plate between the engine and the transmission, there's a bunch of springs in there and 3 of them were broke. So if it would have went, it would have detonated the transmission. So we caught that problem for it. So there's a silver lining. That's it.
Good. I always like to hear about silver linings. That's positive. Thank you. Next, I'll move on to John Paul Negrinati, Acting Deputy Clerk, EDO, Planning Assistant, CEMC, and staff report. And every time I've been to the office, I can't believe the number of calls on land development and planning inquiries.
Phil, the sales questions kind of went down a bit for some of the land sold now, which is
Right.
good. But there's different kind of questions coming in now, new people that are buying. or bought those. I did include the webpage analytics. One booklet there will show you the last 7 days, just at the bottom left of the page there. And it tells you the amount of users in the last 7 days. If you go through the package, it gives you some extra, like what kind of devices use the web page. So 50% desktop, 47% mobile, 3.2% use the tablet.
Where's that, John Paul?
On page 3 or 4, at the bottom right there, this is 3 or 4.
Okay, get you 49, 47, and 3.2.
Yeah, it tells you different sessions by country too. Mostly Canada in this case. The last page will show what pages. it's at. There's one for the last 90 days also. Quite a few people though in the last 90 days, 4,100. In the last 7 days, 494. So and that active users right now, if you actually click on it while on this, it will tell you 0 or 1. So I know it's working because you're never sure. But you, like there's a 0 here on this side, active users right now. And when I was on, you go see 0 or 1 or 2 people were coming on.
Good, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for John Paul? Okay, in that case, we'll move on to fire chief Bateman.
Mr. Mayor and Council. We're working on maintenance of the equipment and apparatus. Still having issues with 911 signs, so we're slowly getting around the township trying to straighten them, finding missing ones. We're working on trying to figure out how to do our smoke alarm program with COVID. So we're going to be using social media, our signs. And we're still waiting for the permit for the dry hydrant. And the plexiglass is ordered for the museum, but everything else is ready to go, so.
And I see that's going to come up a little later in our meeting tonight.
Yep.
Any other questions for Will?
No.
Okay, so we'll move on to Chris, who's had an exciting day today because her mom was in a car accident. But she's well.
Yeah, she's well, she's in the hospital. I don't have a staff report myself, but everything is in front of you, because it's been a very crazy week since our last council meeting.
And of course, it's only been a week. You're getting
Yeah.
pretty familiar, you know, every week, you know. Probably because if it's any longer than that, I'll probably forget names. But anyway, just to make sure, if there's no other staff questions, we'll move on to committee reports. And I'll start with Councillor Moore.
Well, I think we're going to be talking about the museum down at number 19, so
Yeah.
we'll wait for that. And in the correspondence, Marie has talked about the annual report for 2020. That's online, or if anybody wants to look at it. The other thing is, I did mention to all the candidates last week if they'd be willing to take on their fair share of committees, and you did agree to do that, Steve. So I am pretty busy with the museum, so I'm kind of hoping you'll take over the library board.
Sure.
We usually meet once a month. We don't meet in the summer. And it's normally the 4th. I can call you and give you all the information.
Oh, okay.
It's normally the 4th Monday of every month. With the 4th Monday being a long weekend, it's extended now, the meeting to May the 31st. So but I'm assuming I'll be doing that meeting.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll be going to that meeting. And I'll give you all the information. I've already spoken to Marie at the library. And I've told her that I would be asking if Steve would like to take it over, so she is prepared for that.
Okay.
So we'll have to make some,
A resolution.
Resolution
Yeah.
okay. And if you're good for that, with that, and if not, we can always discuss. Okay? Anything else, Councilor Moore?
No, we'll just wait till we get down to number 19.
Okay, good. Councilor Marchant?
Nothing this time, thank you.
It hasn't been long since we've been all together.
Yeah,
Councilor Kirky, of course, you have nothing to say yet.
not
except
yet.
how excited you are to be on council. And Councilor Scott.
No, I haven't had any.
Okay, and we've backed our Eastville meeting up a week because we were hoping that we would be out of lockdown. Wrong again. So it's next Wednesday. It should have been before this. So now we will wait and try new arrangements for our next meeting. It'll be next Wednesday. So otherwise, I have nothing to report as well. So it'll be at our next meeting. So that's the end of committee reports. And so we move on to number 5, to adopt the minutes of the meeting held May 4th, 2021. Pardon?
106 is the resolution number.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, number 60.
Not a problem. I changed my paper from this afternoon, so. Great, so this is to accept the minutes of the May 4th meeting, so I need a mover and a second. Okay, Councilor Moore and Councilor Scott. So it's number 2021-106, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Scott, that the minutes of the meeting held May 4th, 2021 be adopted as published. All in favor? Okay. And next, the closed session meeting held May 4th, a mover and a seconder. Okay, Councilor Marchant and Councilor Scott. So it's number R 2021-107, moved by Councilor Marchant, second by Councilor Scott, that the minutes of the closed session meetings held May 4th, 2021 be adopted. All in favor? Carried. And number 108, the minutes of the special meeting, May 11th. Mover and seconder. Okay, I'm gonna go with Councilor Scott and Moore only because I don't know if Councilor,
So it's after we started.
right. So after this, you're on. So it's number R 2021-108, moved by Councilor Scott, seconded by Councilor Moore, that the minutes of the special meeting held May 11th, 2021 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried. So now,
This is a housekeeping item for the change of signing authority with the retirement of Charles Barton. John Paul and Charles were the signing authorities for the office. As the treasurer, I don't have signing authority because I make the checks. So we have 2 staff members, 2 members of council. So we have Mayor Piper and Deputy Mayor Moore. And we're going to assign John Paul and Will as our signing authorities for the office.
okay, so it's number 2021-109, mover and seconder. And Councilor Kirky and Councilor Scott. So 2021-109, moved by Councilor Kirky, seconded by Councilor Scott, that the mayor and the acting deputy clerk BDO CEMC Planning Assistant be authorized to sign a resolution regarding banking with the Royal Bank. All in favor? And I will pass this.
Yes.
Councillor Moore?
Yes, there's one spot in there that they require your signature. And I changed your.
Thank you.
And then we
It's
can
got to be
stop.
6 feet. I'm 6 feet tall. So that'd be 6 foot wingspan. Thank you. The other two will have signed in the office. So this is a resolution to support the Norfolk County Agricultural Advisory Board regarding carbon tax on primary agriculture. I need a mover and a seconder, Councillor Marchant and Councillor Moore. It's number R 2021-110, moved by Councillor Marchant, seconded by Councillor Moore, that the Council of the Corporation, the Township of Nipissing, supports the letter from the Norfolk County Agricultural Advisory Board dated December 20th, 2020, regarding the application of the carbon tax on primary agriculture producers, and that this resolution be sent to the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the Honorable Vic Fidelli, MPP, as he is our local rep. All in favor? Carried. Just keep it going. Okay, now we're looking at next number are our tenders, and they've all been in. The tender is included here. If you have any question with it, they ask you or Dan, correct?
So all of the tenders closed yesterday at 11 in order for us to do that on Zoom and do it in an open format, which we did. And they've all been checked for completeness of the tenders. And they've all been checked against the budgeted figures, so everything is fine.
So we're under budget and everything, right, Dan?
We're in budget.
In budget,
In
okay. Okay, so
Any idea how close to budget they were?
We'll have that in there.
right,
Yeah, the asphalt ones were pretty close to budget. Yeah. They're all kind of based off last year, so they're pretty close. I mean, probably within $1,000.
Oh,
So for example, the first one, for granite stockpile, our budget is 35,000 for that one. And it came in before taxes at 34,125 from Evan Hughes, was the lowest number. And then we only pay a portion of the tax, so it stays within the budget, and that's a shared budget with a $65,000 budget for the gravel. And it is shared with number 7, so when I add them together, we're within budget.
I never give out the numbers in case somebody actually listens and goes, holy crap, I should have said 65,000. But anyway, I need a mover and seconder for quarried granite stockpile. Okay, Councillor Kirky and Councillor Scott. I'll read these are 2021-111, moved by Councillor Kirky, seconded by Councillor Scott, that we accept tender Nipissing PW Public Works 20212 quarried granite stockpile from Evan Hughes Excavating for a cost of $38,561.25, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. Second one. Mover and seconder for winter sand. Councilor Moore and Councilor Marchant, thank you. This is R 2021-112, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Marchant, that we accept tender Nipissing Public Works 2021-3 winter sand from A Mirren Topsoil Limited for a cost of $32,544, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. This is the exception. Okay, this one. And we're going to re-tender this for quarry granite because we didn't circulate the correct information to all the parties. So what we just have to do is circulate it and we'll re-advertise and they will submit their information.
There was also, the only bid that we did receive was not a complete package, as there was not a pit license included, which is a requirement of the tender. So, we will recirculate it for more interest.
So a mover and a seconder, please. Councilor Kirky and Councilor Scott, thank you. This is number R 2021-113 that we authorize the retendering of Nipissing Public Works 2021-6 quarry granite applied to Beatty Street due to circulation errors during the advertising period. All in favor? More. Next one. Quarry granite to be picked up. This is our 2021-14. Mover and a seconder, please. Councilor Marchant. And Councilor Scott. Thank you. This is number R 2021-114, moved by Councilor Marchant, seconded by Councilor Scott, that we accept tender Nipissing Public Works 2021-7 quarry granted to be picked up by the municipality from Evan Hughes Excavating Limited for a cost of $14,690, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. Now we're getting in. Oh, not quite yet. Double surface treatment from Duncor. Mover the seconder, please. Okay, I'll go with Marchant, pardon me, with Moore and Scott. This is number R 2021-115, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Scott, that we accept tender Nipissing Public Works 2021-8 double surface treatment from Duncor Enterprises Incorporated for a cost of $47,567.58, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. The next one. I didn't know what super pave was. Dan, do you want to explain super pave?
It's just a mix of asphalt. It's what they use on the highway. It takes more of a beating than, there's lower classes of it, bigger stone, so it holds better.
And we're doing the parking lot with that too?
Yes. Yeah, they can do it all at once. I'll have it all prepped so they can just do the road and the parking lot.
Okay, that's great. Mover and a seconder. Okay. Scott. It's number R 2021-116, moved by Counselor Turkey, seconded by Counselor Scott, that we accept tender Nipissing Public Works 2021-10 super pave hot mix asphalt from Miller Paving Limited for a cost of $103,428.90, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried.
It's under AMO and OSIP grant money.
Yes, I have little notes. OSIP grant, 190,300 was there. So it's well within. Keep going. This is Quarry B granite. And again, I'm sure we've all looked at the quotes, and everything was the lowest quote is what we accepted. So I'm mover and the seconder for this one. Councilor Marchant and Councilor Scott.
Question
Yep,
on that, did we pick up ones that's loaded on the trucks? And
Yeah, so what, this, that'll be for Birch Grove, so we dig up frost heaves and stuff like that. We'll send our trucks and pick it up and then dump it in the holes.
They loaded
They loaded everything, yeah, it's all scaled.
part of the cost.
Right, yeah,
Thank you.
and this is a scale in the Bruin.
it's, yeah, Evans Pit over on, Hazel Glen Road.
Yep. Sorry for being a local.
Yeah.
Hazel Glen Road. My apologies. Number R 2021-117, moved by Councilor March, seconded by Councilor Scott, that we accept Nipissing or tender Nipissing Public Works 2021-11 Quarry B granite to be picked up by the municipality from Evan Hughes Excavating Limited for a cost of $32,205, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. And I think this is last but not least. I need a mover into seconder, please. Councilor Moore and Councilor Scott. Thank you. Number R 2021-118, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Scott. If we accept tender Nipissing Public Works 2021-12, supply, crush, and apply quarry granite, Birch Grove Drive from Evan Hughes Excavating Limited for a cost of $21,373.95, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you for submitting this and getting all the work done to have our roads in good shape for another year. So we move on to number 18. This is township welcome signs and fire rating signs. And we have a quote for these signs and the fire rating, and I think you've seen the pictures. And if you've been driving around the community, you know where they're going to go to replace the other ones. Do you have any questions about this? Councilor Moore?
Is that the only quote we got for?
Yes. So one of the reasons is we've worked with this company quite a bit, and they will have our logos and everything already in their system. In order for us to get it from somebody else, they'll have to release it,
Right.
which could be anywhere from probably 500 to 700 release.
Yeah, we've had the same issue at the museum with the clothing line with our logo on it. So, okay. Do you feel though that that's within, do you think that's a fair price? Like,
I feel it is, but it's council's decision.
because I think for $700 or $800, should we not get a couple of more quotes?
We could do that.
I think we should, and we do have a local sign maker in the area. You know, so it'd be nice to give it to somebody local if they choose to.
If they come up with the.
Yeah, if they
lowest
come
bid.
up
As
with,
long as they work with the same materials.
Yes.
As what we have worked up the month with King Sportswear.
okay.
Like I know we did go out for quotes and everything when we did all the fire department signs,
Mhm.
and King's was the best price for the best product as well. So,
Even with the 911 signs, they were half the price.
Were they really? Oh,
Yeah,
well, then
but
if you
that's-
feel that, it's up to,
and we do have a good relationship with them.
okay,
They warranty a lot of decals and stuff for us, and,
okay.
but I definitely can get pricing.
No,
Like I said, I gave you some of the specs too, so it's 7 years plus on vinyl.
okay,
So they're saying for sure 7 years, but it could be, they've seen them 8, 9, 10 years.
well, how long have we had these signs?
Oh,
Since before we came on board?
to be honest with you, I never noticed.
We first put them in what, 2009, when we first
I
got
say
the
it's
logo?
2009.
Right?
Right
Was that
about
the
when we
first
came
time?
on, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
That was a long.
and this
time
is the
ago.
same material?
No, this is actually vinyl material. The other ones, I think, were painted, weren't they? Or
It's on wood.
I'm not even sure. They're on wood anyway. These are aluminum and
So when we went out for quotes, for example, for all of the landfill signage, it was the same idea, and we went and we did quotes with the local.
Oh, did you?
company and all
Okay.
of the- And for the materials, there wasn't.
And did we do this, use the same company for the landfill signs?
Yes.
Okay, and you, okay, well, then you would know if they were the, okay,
Yep, but
I'm good with that then.
And it falls under the amount on the procurement bylaw that we can do it this
Yes,
way. We're
okay.
preferred.
Yes, I knew under 10,000, right. So the signs are gonna go up where they are now, basically.
yeah, so the only one that was gonna change is Highway 534 coming from Blossom.
Right,
So the township sign will remain there.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move the fire rating sign to Alsace Road and Ski Hill Road in 534.
okay,
So we can hit all the entrances instead of putting 2 signs up.
and I see it comes out to basically the two standalone signs come out to basically the same price. as if they
Exactly,
were
yeah.
together. Yeah,
They,
so-
yeah,
yeah, no, that looks good.
so are you guys okay with the colors and everything that we?
They will be the same as they are now, the same colors, except for your.
Yeah, we try to stick
Yeah,
with what we had now. and-
yeah, look good, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Councilor Marchand?
Yeah, just curious about the fire sign out at Butterfield. The
Yeah.
existing signs in the field now,
Yes,
is there gonna be something for getting over the fence?
I believe there's a gate there.
Well, that's horse pasture all along there. I don't remember a gate at that point.
I will double check, but I'm sure there was a gate there. But
Oh, maybe there is, maybe I
and the
missed
one
it.
off, just outside of Trail Creek, we can actually reach the sign from this side of the fence.
Okay, I just wondered.
But I will check that out a bit.
Should the signs be outside fence?
Pardon me?
Shouldn't all the signs be outside fence?
No, because they're on private property, so we don't have to deal with MTO.
MTO.
Okay.
I thought there was a rule along numbered highways that there had to be so many feet off to be out of their jurisdiction, even on private property.
Well, once they're outside of, once they're outside their road allowance.
No, but there was a thing for signs so far off. That's why you see some, maybe it's different
All the
highways.
signs that we have been approved anyway, we're putting them in the exact same.
You're putting the
location.
same place, but
Yeah.
just, sometimes that's why you'll see along 400, the tractor trailer and stuff are way back.
Well, it might be the
Because
different
MTO
class.
has jurisdiction over signs
Yeah,
for so many feet off the right of way.
but it might be the classification of
It
the
might be
highway.
the
too.
classification of the
But I
highway.
definitely will look at that other one,
I was
just
curious.
to verify it. Thank you.
Okay, so in that case, I need to move her into second. Councilor Moore and Councilor Kirk. It's number R 2021-119, moved by Councilor Moore, seconded by Councilor Kirky, that we accept the quote for new township welcome signs and fire rating signs from King Sportwear Incorporated. Total amount $9,153, including applicable taxes. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we move on to number 19. And this is regarding the hiring of a museum manager and the limited operation of the museum during the COVID restrictions. And Councillor Miller.
Yes, so I know lockdowns going on till June the 2nd, I think. Technically, I believe we still could put her in there by herself to start getting things ready. There's a lot to do in there. There's a lot, and she may need help to move furniture around from when we had the construction. And then the ordering, my hallway at home is filled with stuff that has been donated and purchased for the museum. I've got to get that over there. So I'm just hoping that council will allow her to go in there on her own while we're still at stay-at-home order. If not, she will go in on June the 2nd or after that. I spoke to her and she said she was fine with it if council was okay with it.
Yeah, and I spoke to her again, and she's going to start on Thursday.
This Thursday? Okay.
And the other thing is, another local museum has been doing the same thing.
Oh, more than one local museum. They have been doing it all along. They've had their curators in the museum, not open to the public.
Makes sense.
Well, artifacts have to be cleared for, you know.
Chief Bateman.
So the other thing is the individual will be signing in, screening as we do with all our buildings. So there'll be a book there, everything.
Yeah.
So she'll have to screen in and
You'll be coaching her on that.
yes,
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all staff is trained on all of the COVID protocols.
okay.
So
Now-
if there's no other questions.
No, then there's the students, but we will deal with them after.
I think that-
Yeah,
After
so,
June 2nd.
yes, yeah.
Right. So a mover and seconder, Councillor Moore, and Councillor Marchant. It's number R 2021-120, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Marchant, that we authorize the hiring of a museum manager and the limited operation of the Nipissing Township Museum during the COVID-19 restrictions. All in favor? Carried. Oh, now we're to number 20.
Closed session?
Closed session.
Oh, that's what I'm for.
So a mover, pardon me, and seconder, so we can go into closed session, and then we will have to video off or whatever we do. Okay, so I see Councillor Scott and Councillor Marchant. So it's number R 2021-121, moved by Councillor Scott, seconded by Councillor Marchant, that this part of our meeting will be closed to the public as authorized by section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 C25 for consideration of the following subject matter. B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Time is 7:06 PM. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I assume some of you will be leaving us. The evening here for you. And the rest of us, I look forward to seeing you This is the motion to adopt the municipal positions. And I need a mover and a seconder, please. So Councillor Moore and Marchand, I'll go this side. So it's number R 2021-123, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Marchand, that we pass bylaw number 2021-27, being a bylaw to adopt municipal position descriptions for the CAO, clerk, deputy treasurer, treasurer, deputy clerk, operations superintendent, fire chief, and land planning and technology administrator positions, and a revised organizational chart for the Township of Nipissing. Read a first, second, and third time this 18th day of May, 2021. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next one. 22, to appoint committee of adjustment. So because we have a new counselor, we have to have confirm his appointment. So I will ask Councillor Scott and Councillor Marchand. So it's number R 2021-124, moved by Councillor Scott, seconded by Councillor Marchand, that we pass bylaw number 2021-27, being a bylaw to confirm the appointment of members to the Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment. Read a first, second, and third time and pass this 18th day of May, 2021. All in favor? Carried. Correspondence. Number one, of course, letter of thanks from the Ramsey family. Two,
We're froze.
we're froze.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Refresh,
I already tried that.
close it down and restart it.